Hi, Jen the Holistic Health Boss, your functional diagnostic health coach and personal training expert. And I want to talk to you guys about something that's kind of serious this week. It's an epidemic that I'm seeing that's growing amongst so many people that I talk to, whether it's friends, family, or personal clients of mine. The American Thyroid Association also has some pretty stunning statistics on this, and it's what I call the thyroid epidemic. The American Thyroid Association is estimating that 12% of the US population alone will be diagnosed with some type of thyroid condition or disorder in their lifetime, and that it will particularly affect 8 out of 10 women. So if you think about your circle of friends or family members and think that 8 out of the 10 women that you actually know could be diagnosed or could be currently actually suffering with a thyroid condition. And we're seeing this so frequently. It's being diagnosed more and more. If you were to go to a doctor or Google certain symptoms like weight gain, fatigue, hair loss, menstrual irregularities, chances are the information that you would find would point you in the direction of some type of thyroid condition. Now, the three most common types of thyroid conditions that are usually diagnosed is hyperthyroidism, which essentially some of the symptoms that are associated with that are usually weight loss, anxiety, intolerance to heat, and hair loss. The one that I actually see probably most frequently amongst people is hypothyroidism. This usually is associated with weight gain, fatigue, like extreme fatigue, inability or intolerance to cold, like you're cold, your hands and feet are cold all the time when others aren't, and also thinning hair, brittle nails, and some hair loss as well. And then kind of a more severe case or severe type of thyroid condition is Hashimoto's. And this would be an actual autoimmune disease. It's kind of like a severe version of hypothyroidism, where all of the symptoms are elevated to the next level. Even more fatigue, even more weight gain can happen as a result of that. But you have to have a genetic component for that to happen. And what I want to kind of like open up the conversation about today is that in most cases, thyroid issues are actually a symptom of something else, and we need to start looking at the body as the complex system that it is. It doesn't work as singular systems or singular organs minding their own business. It's all interconnected, working together. So we need to start the conversation of, why is the thyroid just not working all the time? I've had plenty of clients that have come to me that said, oh, well, my doctor said that my thyroid just stopped working. It's not like your thyroid just woke up one day and decided to retire. There's something that's been affecting it. So I want to talk to you about the 4 things that are most likely throwing off your thyroid, whether it's affecting you or maybe somebody that you know. So the very first thing is a low-calorie diet. If you consume or you're eating a low-calorie diet, restricting your calorie intake for just a matter of a few days, like 2 to 3 days potentially, that can reduce your thyroid production or your thyroid's ability to run at full speed by 38%. You can think of that in terms of that's a reduction in your metabolism, which can actually force you to gain weight, or it can imbalance other hormones that you have. So if you're somebody who's ever dieted at any point in your lifetime where you've counted calories, or if you're somebody who's cyclical about it and has done it time and time again, then chances are that you've really impacted your thyroid and you didn't even know what the long-term results of that dieting was going to do to you. And don't worry, I'm going to talk about some ways to resolve this and fix it at the end of this. So reason number 2, that can be causing your thyroid to be off, is having a clogged liver. So your liver is responsible for converting about 60% of your thyroid hormone. Now you have multiple different thyroid hormones that make up the total thyroid. And so your liver is in charge of converting those from like free T3s to things that are called free T4s and so forth. So if you have a liver that's been overloaded from exposures to environmental toxins, use of medications, or anything else that could be causing it to be sluggish, then that can slow down, or it can stop the conversion of your thyroid. That's going to look like a thyroid condition, but really it's more of an issue with your liver and getting your liver back up and functioning correctly. And one of the third kind of like infamous reason is something called adrenal fatigue, which is starting to become more of a popular term in our, especially the functional medicine world, and now becoming a little bit more mainstream. People are starting to know more about it. And adrenal fatigue can certainly cause your thyroid to be out of balance. And that's because essentially you have this like power control center that consists of your hypothalamus, your pituitary, and your adrenal glands. And now your hypothalamus is in charge of connecting with the pituitary that connects to the thyroid to make sure that the thyroid is doing its job. So if you have any dysfunction in the what's called the HPA axis, the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, so adrenal fatigue from chronic stress over a long period of time that can disrupt the function of the HPA axis, and then that essentially can disrupt thyroid. And I have a little chart where I want to show you guys this. So in the middle here, you can see the HPA axis. And then here's all the different systems of the body that it's in charge of. So like I was saying, the HPA axis, the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis here, it's the main control center for all of these other different systems of the body, like your carb metabolism, your neural tissue health, and then over here, your endocrine function. And your thyroid is part of your endocrine function, along with your pancreas and your ovarian hormone levels. So if you're experiencing like things with your ovarian hormones, so menstrual irregularities, PCOS, that kind of stuff, then that can be actually a secondary symptom to dysfunction of the HPA axis. So that's where I'm saying that thyroid can actually be a symptom of something else. Your thyroid is out of balance potentially because the HPA, the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, is out of balance, usually from adrenal fatigue specifically, like that chronic stress over time. Now, the fourth and last reason that's most common for what could be throwing your thyroid off of balance is an amino acid deficiency. So amino acids are protein building blocks. So when you consume protein, it's broken down into amino acids, and then your body utilizes these different amino acids for certain functions, to create cells and all kinds of stuff. And particularly one of the thyroid hormones called free T4 needs an adequate amount of amino acids in order for the body to produce free T4. So if you have impaired digestion, like you're not digesting maybe optimally because you have leaky gut, or you just have digestive upset, you experience heartburn, fatigue, constipation, diarrhea, you know that your digestion is off, it's likely that you're not absorbing amino acids very well. Or maybe you're just not consuming enough protein to begin with. And so if you're not getting in enough amino acids either through your food or by absorbing them, then your body cannot adequately make free T4, and so therefore that could show up as maybe hypothyroidism, or it can be contributing to more severe symptoms with Hashimoto's or other types of thyroid conditions as well. So again, like, what we want to do here is we want to start looking at the body as a whole system. Like, how can we correct the diet? How can we support the liver? How can we make sure that we're optimizing digestion so that you can support the thyroid in its function? And then maybe in that case, you can actually heal your thyroid condition, or you can potentially, if you have something like Hashimoto's that's genetic and autoimmune condition, you can actually manage it way better through lifestyle factors. So one of the things, the solutions or tools or resources that I want to give you guys to learn more about this is that I'm going to be actually hosting a free webinar with my good friend and colleague, Molly Hamill-Ferguson. We're going to be talking about all things thyroid. She has a personal thyroid story. She has Hashimoto's, and we've worked together. She's been on a personal journey of healing her Hashimoto's for over a year now. We're going to be giving a webinar that's going to be talking about all things thyroid, from food and mindset to how you can either prevent a thyroid condition from popping up for you, or if you currently have one, how do you manage it better through having a better mindset, the tools that are available to you through foods, and through looking at your body as a whole system that functions together. So you guys can click on the link below or hop back to the email in order to grab the registration link for the webinar. That webinar is going to be happening Wednesday, July 7th at 6 p.m. Pacific time. If you guys can't attend the webinar, we are going to be sending out a recording, but you still need to register for that webinar in order to get access to the recording. And we want to answer all the questions that you have about thyroid so that you don't have to be a victim of this epidemic we're seeing happening so much. You don't have to be part of the 12% or that one or those 8 out of the 10 women. You're going to know how to support your thyroid as best as possible for the rest of your life. So hope you guys found that useful. Again, you can click on the link below to register for the webinar or hop back to the email where you maybe got this video, and that is happening Wednesday, July 7th at 6 p.m. Pacific. Have a great week, and I'll see you next Thursday.